should you be stricken anymore?
So the Lord keeps asking us, if we're going to choose life and not death, why do we continue to be stricken? Why? Because we continue to do. Listen, it's like we know better, but then we don't want to do better. We keep doing the same things over and over that we've been getting death with. When are we going to change our way to obtain life? Right? When do we want to choose life? Hey, brother, didn't God say, I set before you this day life and death? Choose you, therefore.
I will choose life.
Thank you. Choose life. So I'm gonna add into it. We kings, it's our birthright, and we misinformed that we are God's express chosen people.
That's right.
Right? His beloved, the one that he puts his name in. And when we don't understand that, we allow other nations to come over and misuse and manipulate us to convince them that we're not that and we're less than. That's why we call ourselves black. That's why we call ourselves Negro, which is a Spanish word for black. This is why we call ourselves African American, two continents put together. When are we going to get back? And listen, what's the language of Africa America? Huh? And where do we get English? In slavery. We didn't come up with English. English was something that was forced on us, right? Even with the Hispanic. Spanish is their language. Spanish was forced on them. See, when you have your own heritage and nationality, you have land, you have language, you have culture, you have custom, right? The only thing that we got nowadays is a good chilling recipe and Juneteenth now. Oh, and where do we get? Listen, Juneteenth was just given to us. Shout out to my brother Ali Tay, man, for putting this thing together, man, and giving us the platform to be able to at least come together and share something.
Right.
And this brother did that before we got the national holiday. See what I'm saying? So we pioneer these things, but guess what? Our lineage and our heritage goes back long before the 1800s, where we are allegedly freed from slavery. Bring your precept out. Go ahead.
This Hosea chapter 4 verse 1. It says, hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land.
We have a controversy with the inhabitants of the land. Because they saying that it belongs to them. We saying it belongs to us. So how are we going to settle up? Read.
Because there is no truth, nor mercy.
There's no truth there. That's why we agree with you. We gave you an answer because there's misinformation going on. That land don't belong to them. That's why everybody over there fighting over it. But going back to the 80s, right? There was a prime minister of Egypt. His name was Abdul Nazar, right? He says, the Israelites or the Jews left black and they came back white. Right. And as long as it remains that way, there will never be peace in the land. Right. Even he understood that, right? Because when you're dealing with nationality, people take pride in who they are. People take pride in who they are. So even the people that don't try to stay claim to us, they take pride in who they are. So with him being an Egyptian, he didn't try to care, try to take over what was ours. He was calling out the fallacy and the lies and the untruth that is being perpetuated in a land that don't belong to the people that's there. Right? Read.
It says, for the Lord hath controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land.
And we have to recognize too, we take a little responsibility because it was our fault, because we forsook the law, statutes, and commandments of God. So he allowed these things to happen to us. So now in the place of our captivity, we got to claim back to who we are, come back and start to treat one another better. That's all the law, statutes, and commandments is here to do. Make sure that I love you, brother. Matter of fact, excuse me, to make sure that I love myself, so that I have the ability to love you, brother. All right, give me Deuteronomy 28:54, quick. Go ahead.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 54.
These are the curses that was going to come upon the Israelites for forsaking God. Read.
So the man that is tender among you and very delicate.
How do you handle something that's tender and delicate? With care. Get this man a hand, right? You handle it with care. Do you feel like black people handle each other with care? Absolutely not. Right? So the man that was tender and delicate among you, what was going to happen to that man? Read.
His eyes shall be evil toward his brother.
It was going to be a division between his brother. Who else was it going to be a division between? Read.
And toward the wife of his bosom.
Do you feel like black people have an issue within the relationships that we have? How many broken homes is the black community made up of? How many single parent homes is the black community made up of? Right? This is talking about the black man, the Hispanic man, the Native Indian man. My eye was going to be evil towards my brother, the wife of my bosom, and who else?
and toward the remnant of his children which he shall leave.
And the way we was gonna be, but I was gonna be evil towards my wife and my children, it says I would leave them. Is that something that speaks into the issues of our people? We gotta correct that. We gotta correct that. The same people that it said that would happen to is the same people that said that they were going to slavery on ships, sold for bondmen and bondwomen, and nobody would come and get them. Same thing happened to us, and you see we still here, trying to get a simple, small moment of joy, trying to celebrate the day that our plantation got bigger, right? Master House got bigger, and we just celebrate. Oh man, good God, we got more space now. Master got more. We got more space. Oh, Master said, oh, we sick, man. We can't come out here today. We sick, right? Master said we get a free day off. We get the day to celebrate. Cool. Like I said before, 2 years ago, we wasn't even celebrating Juneteenth. I know here, at least here in San Diego, right? Go ahead. Keep reading, because now we're gonna deal with our sisters as well. Go ahead.
So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he had nothing left him in the siege.
So when you want to talk about inheritance, right? You got kids? When you get old and you get gray and you about to go and pass on and go be with the Father again, you want to be able to leave something to your kids, right? How often do you see that happen in our community? Not often. Most recently, we start developing a mindset to say, man, we start hitting our late 20s, our 30s. Sometimes it even takes to get to our 40s and 50s where we start saying, man, I ain't really got nothing, because my father ain't left me nothing. My grandfather didn't leave my father nothing. I want to break the generational curse and the cycle of not being able to leave anything. This is prophesied in the scriptures. We have nothing left in us because we have been sieged, we have been taken over, and we've been destroyed. But that has only been able to happen because we were divided, because we didn't want to love one another. We didn't want to carry ourselves in a certain way. So if I don't look at myself as shit, I ain't got no problem with looking at you like you ain't shit. And what did Bishop say? And until I feel like you is shit, bow. And that's all we do to each other. We keep killing each other. Read.
And in the straightness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates.
And that's all we've been in a distressed place. That's why when we go to the word Egypt, right, in the Hebrew, it's Montezarium. The word Montezarium means to be in a distressed place. That's why we out here, we smoke cigarettes, we get high, we on lean. Then nowadays we start overdosing on fentanyl, we popping pills, we doing cocaine. I mean, we trying to figure out any way to just get an ease. We trying to figure out a way to ease the pain here and there. This is why we out here. I'd rather do this than all of the other things that I listed, but we gotta want more for ourselves. We cannot stop here. Our salvation is nearer than when we believed. And that's why they hate the fact that we learn about who we are. We hate the fact that we realizing that that's not our Lord and Savior. That that's not God. That is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. Read.
Verse 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set her sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness.
Do we treat our women like that now? It says she was so tender and delicate, we didn't even want her to walk upon the ground. Somebody pick these two sisters up right now. That sister, get these feet off the ground. We don't want them to be on the ground. That's how much we love them. That's how tender and delicate they was to us. Nowadays, we'll strike a woman down to the ground for nothing, because she looked at you wrong. You follow and harass a woman to her car because she didn't want to give you her number. You need to follow that woman to her car to make sure she gets on her car safely and she can get up out of this place of hell that we in.
That's right.
But we don't do that for our people. We don't do that at all. Like I said, we want to misuse, abuse our women. We want to talk slick and nice to them, whisper sweet nothings in their ear, get in their pants, and then leave them when we give them a baby. This is a problem. These are all the curses that was going to happen to the Israelites. But then, when we see we going through that, every single one of them, we call ourselves black. When we going to start calling ourselves by the chosen name that God gave us? Israel in the English, Yasharallah in the Hebrew.
That's right.
Go ahead.
For delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom.
Now, we done got on the fellas, but we got to start getting on the sister too, because it's balanced. Her eye was going to be evil towards our brothers, right? Because now, when we used to look at them just for a piece of behind, now they're looking at us for what? A dollar sign. What can you do for me? Do you want my cash? Don't forget my number. You want my Cash App? You want my Venmo? I take Cash App, Venmo, Zelle. See, they didn't even take the EBT. Do you got something? What can you do for me? Well, damn, baby, I thought it was a little bit more about that today. I thought it was a little bit more to it. What about love? What about connection? What about me and you coming together and trying to go accomplish the impossible? which is what? Getting our people up out of this goddamn hellhole we've been in for 500 years. That's what we need to band together and do. Not sit up here trying to figure out how we can come up on a buck. You want to know why? The dollar is falling. The dollar ain't worth, it ain't worth what it was yesterday. Yesterday's price ain't today's price. We know that with gas going on right now. California gas is $7 goddamn a gallon. It's about to go up to $10 goddamn a gallon. That only tells you one thing. The dollar that you over here risking your life for, the dollar that you're going to cross your brother for, the value of it is dropping. Your brother should be way more valuable than the goddamn dollar that you cross him for.
That's right.
But you got to love yourself to know that. You love yourself, you can love your brother. You love your brother, you can love your sister. You love your sister, you love them kids. You love them kids, we become unstoppable.
That's right.
Bring it out.
Evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet.
How is our sister's eye evil towards the one that come out from between her feet? You know why? Because she'll kill that little baby before he even come out from between her feet.
Talk about it.
Like I said, abortion accounts for more than gang violence, black on black crime, health problems, and police brutality put together. Put together. The Bible is telling you thousands of years ago that this would happen to a people. The same people that go into slavery on ships, issues between one another, that we would call ourselves a proverb and a byword. We wouldn't call ourselves by our own name, we would call ourselves something else. Issues, abortions, killing each other, no love, no prosperity. And these things are going to be on us until we will be destroyed. But we call ourselves black now. This is a problem. Keep going. Read.
And toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for one of all things, secretly in the siege and in straitness, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates.
Now here's the thing, not to mention, we even have those extreme cases where, like I said, like it says, the enemy puts us in such a distressed place that we will even abuse and utilize our kids to get ahead, right? I'm gonna tell you one thing, and it's not even really that extreme, but to me it is. When you sit here and you put your daughter that's 4, 5, 6 years old into these pageants, dress her up and make her look like a grown woman to go and impress a panel of people to get paid for it. That's wild stuff. To fulfill what? It ain't bringing that little girl no self-esteem. It's actually taken away from her, because what happens when she loses? What type of mindset it put in her mind? She wasn't good enough. Every black, every Hispanic, every Native Indian, man, woman, and child is the greatest thing on the planet Earth simply for existing. All right, give me Jeremiah 50. Yeah, get that, Deuteronomy 7. Bring it out.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
You know what the word holy means? It means to be separate, right? We always use, oh, holy, holy, holy. God called his people holy to say you're different than the rest of these other people. I'm separating you from the way that you conduct yourself and the way that they conduct themselves. It should be a clear-cut difference. But nowadays, we don't do that. We take our greatness and we suppress it to go and be approved by them. One of the reasons we do that, we shave our face, brother. We shave our face. That's a tradition that we picked up from the working world, to be clean shaven. Right? Give me that in Jeremiah 2, right? Why? The Bible asks us a question. Why trim your own ways to seek love? All we do is we compromise who we are. We put on our white voice, right? You put on your dockers and your button up and your tie, and you go in there and you put your white smile on, right? You say you speak job interview. You do all those things to do it to be approved by other people, to be approved by the man that has been rape, robbing, murdering your people for centuries now. Me and you all walk by, you don't be like, what's up, nigga? You walk past the white man, how you doing, man? You all right? Let me get the door for you. You all right? Everything good? No, it might not be you. It might not be you, right? Because there's always an exception to the rules. I'm not that way now. Matter of fact, okay, I'll open doors for white people. Okay, I'm sorry. Then I'll open doors for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So we understand the psychology behind it, where when you see the white, it's like automatically you got to shape up. But then when I ask you that initial question, who do you think is better, you or the white man? So why the hell you ain't open no door for us? See what I'm saying? Why he ain't out here shining our shoes? Why he ain't out here serving plates up to us? He's not doing that. You know, he does that just to have a couple extra dollars to buy cocaine and weed in college. Because his parents is paying for all of that. So if I go get me a little job, I can go and, get a little on the side, and I ain't got to put it on mom's or dad's company credit card where they can verify my purchase. They want to go buy porn and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You ever seen Superbad? What's the opening scene of Superbad? Hey, yeah, hey, Seth, man, listen, I found a perfect little porn site, man. But listen, it's called Perfect 10. So when we put it on our mom's credit card, they're not going to really know what it is. You laugh because you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's disgusting. We ain't got that privilege. Hell, we ain't put away so many no damn porn. Right?
We should get holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
But again, God have chosen us to be a special people, separated us so that we can be above. Are we above right now? No. So how do we get back to that place? We got to follow the roadmap that God has given us. And like I said, it's found in the laws, statutes, and commandments. The laws, statutes, and commandments is rooted and based in principle in loving yourself and making sure that you love your brother and your sister and your kids the exact same way. Nothing more, nothing less. See what I'm saying? And we have to understand that. Whether you an Israelite, right? More than likely from the tribe of Judah. All right? Do you have any Caribbean or Haitian background? Not that you know. So like I said, more than likely you from the tribe of Judah, right? So understand that. Well, you got something else? Go ahead. Bring it out.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse 11. Saying to them, as I live, saith the Lord God, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked turn from his way and live.
So the Lord doesn't want to continue to punish us, right? With death and destruction. He said he has no pleasure in that. He would rather that we turn from our wickedness and come back into the light. Go ahead.
Turn ye from your evil ways. For why will ye die, O house of Israel?
Oh, house of Israel, why do we continue to die? Give me Isaiah 1 and 5. Why do we want to choose to die, right? If I had to ask you a question, right? Life and death, which one you going to choose? You would choose life, right? What would you say life is? If you're going to choose life, what is life that you're going to choose? It's all right. I mean, I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but when I ask you that question, this is stuff that we have to consider. Because when you leave from us, you're going to be faced with choices. You're going to be... Go ahead.
I think life is giving your kids life. Making sure that they have more than what you had before you're gone.
Making sure that they have more than what you had before you're gone. I have absolutely no problem with that. But like I said, when a wise man speaketh the wise word, I'm just going to simply add unto it. Life is a level of safety. It's a level of comfort, right? And it's also a level of continuity amongst your people. Because when you don't have that, you got to look over your shoulder. When you have that, this is your wife, right? Listen, when you have that, when you start talking to your wife, you got to sit up here and you got to go through her damn phone. Who the hell you been talking to? Who is this Andre? Who is this Demetrius? That's not life, that's death. Because it's all in our mind, right? What you got? Bring it out. Go ahead, 1 and 5.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 5. Why should you be stricken anymore?
So the Lord keeps asking us, if we're going to choose life and not death, why do we continue to be stricken? Why? Because we continue to do... Listen, it's like we know better, but then we don't want to do better. We keep doing the same things over and over that we've been getting death with. When are we going to change our way to obtain life, right? When do we want to choose life? Hey, brother, didn't God say, I set before you this day life and death? Choose you, therefore.
I'm going to choose life.
Thank you. Choose life, right? But we got to see what life is. Get that Deuteronomy 30 and 15. Bring it out.
He will revolt more and more.
But what do? We don't change our way. It says we revolt more and more. We don't change our way. We keep doing it. We say, I want to do better. I want to leave my kids something. But then you're going to leave them drug money? You're going to leave them gangbang money? You're going to leave him the hood and the set name that you built so he can be little whatever you is and follow in your footsteps? No, we got to change that, man. We got to change our reputation. We got to change our name. We got to stand on the words and the wisdom and the faith of the Most High God. But now Yahweh is his name. God. And we do so in the name of his only begotten son, Hamashiach Yahushua. Get that.
The whole head is sick. The whole heart faint.
It says the whole head is sick and the whole heart is faint. Your heart is dealing with your mind. You know what they say? My mind's telling me no, but then my heart is telling me something else. You are having a schizophrenic conversation with yourself. It's the same thing. It's your battle. It's really more so the battle between your wisdom and your flesh. Because your flesh wants to go and do something, but you know your mind is telling you, I know that that's wrong. And we got to have a little bit more courage, and we got to have a little bit more confidence in doing what's right, rather than trying to appeal to things that's going to contribute to our destruction, right? Go ahead.
Verse 6. From the sole of the foot, even unto the head, there is no soundness in it.
It says from the sole of our foot to the top of the head, there's no soundness in it. Because when we choose this destructive way, only thing it does is it causes wounds, bruises, and sores. That's why all of us got trauma growing up. Some of us got trauma coming straight out the womb. Crack babies, right? Strung out on some sort of synthetic drug, right? Then we're born into poverty. Then we're born into a broken home. Then we're born into a household with that white guy right there, and they're saying, "You better not disrespect my Jesus." This is the untruth that the people of God are filled with. Keep reading. Go ahead.
There is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores.
And the Lord likens all of our problems unto wounds, bruises, and putrefying sores that what?
They have not been closed, neither bound up.
They have not been closed, and they have not been bound up. If you got shot or if you got cut and you walk around with an open wound and you don't treat it, what's going to happen to it? It's going to get infected. That's all that's been happening to our people. We've been making decisions in our lives based off of a past trauma that we've experienced. And we keep getting more and more and more infected. And we have no cure, right? Give me that in Wisdom of Solomon. Bring it out.
Neither mollified with ointment.
Neither mollified with ointment. And then, like I said, the only way we go about trying to cure it is trying to indulge in some sort of substance to give us a temporary moment of happiness. That's the life of an addict. But again, we only point it out when they offer crack and heroin. No, this stuff goes into gambling. This goes into retail therapy. I push a slot button or two. You know what I'm saying? I done put it all on red a couple of times. My bad, shoot. I was shooting for the stars, right? But these are the things that we have to go into, and it does not serve us any good. You got that, Wisdom of Solomon? Go ahead. And I had you hold a few things. So run those off when I had you hold. Go ahead.
Solomon chapter 14, verse 12. For he was neither herb nor mollifying plaster.
It was not herb. I wanted to read it. I never went to it. It was not herb. Because we were on that herb way too much.
It restored them to health.
That herb ain't restore you to health. Everybody is relying on some quote that clearly an addict out of his own mouth said in 1995. God put this here for me and you, man. Take advantage. But then at the end of the movie, he says what? Hey, man, I'm doing this stuff, but I'm going to rehab. You go to rehab because you know you got a problem. But we take that and we understand. We say, well, I could use weed and not be out here doing ungodly things like people do on crack, so I'm good. I can still go to work. I can still take care of my kids. I can still do all of that, but we're still abusing it. We're still relying on it way too much. You need to be able to cut that thing off at any given moment, but we can't. We rely on it too much. What you got?
This elder Jamaican man in Jamaica was going into weed and how you're not supposed to put a fire to it because of the chemicals that it activates when you put the fire to it. And he was also saying that a lot of these, industries, marijuana industries, they can grow their plants within 2 to 3 months when it actually takes 6 to 9 months to actually have the marijuana fully bud, right? So like the brother always tells us and, tells other people, our people out here smoking crack. Marijuana is the new crack now because people are influenced by it and people run to it for their health. And it's not physical health because of course we can use marijuana to digest or consume it, meaning for our digestive system, meaning drink it or eat it, right? Which is going to help, heal the hurt joints, arthritis, etc. But it's not going to heal, what's going on in that mind of yours, right?
Not to mention, like the brother, he just spoke on it. Because that's one of the crutches that our people lean on weed. Oh, well, it's medicinal. The medicinal property or the medicinal component of weed is CBD. You go into these dispensaries, it's got up to 90% THC in it, and more than likely it's going to have like 0.1, 0.8% CBD. You smoking straight get high. You smoking straight get high. Which when you get into the natural marijuana that the brother was speaking about that takes 6 to 9 months to fully bud, it has a THC content of 2%, and it has a high CBD count of somewhere around 40%. They done completely switched it around. You guys hear 2916? They done completely switched this thing around. But then they say, but it's medicinal. It's legal now. Slavery was legal too. Right? Slavery was legal too. Until they said in 1863, okay, we're going to abolish it, but unless it's for the punishment of a crime. Now, they trying to figure out any way to lock your ass up, black man. Read. Let me finish. Go ahead.
Wisdom of Solomon 14:12, for it was neither herb nor mollifying plaster that restored them to health, but thy word, O Lord, which healeth all things.
It wasn't the herb, it wasn't the plaster, it wasn't the ointment that restored us to health, it was the word of God. Why? Because the only reason why we're on these things is because that misinformation that you told us about earlier. We don't know who we are, we don't know where we came from, we don't even know what the hell we're supposed to be doing. Hey, Juneteenth, right? June 19, 1865, when the word made it to Texas, they let 4 million slaves off the plantation with no drive, no direction, with nothing to do. And they put a law in place to say, if you ain't got no job, if you ain't got nowhere to stay, I have a reason to lock you up. So what we was doing is, we had to sell ourselves back into slavery just so we wouldn't go to jail. Which means what? If I was in jail, I was in slavery? Or I had to go sell myself and put myself into a contract in slavery. When you go to D.C., right, they just spent $35 million on an African-American museum in D.C. And when you go in and start speaking about the whole Juneteenth, they have a whole separate exhibit dealing with the Reconstruction era, right? Because when they let the slaves off of the plantation, they said, listen, how are we going to be able to utilize these now quote-unquote free people and incorporate them into society? Because when you have these citizens, they have to be able to provide for themselves. They have to be able to incorporate and ingratiate themselves into working class. They got to be able to provide. They took that away. So when they say, you see the contracts that we would put ourselves into, being free to be able to have a job and an actual slave contract, they said you could barely know the difference. How wild is that? We were supposed to be free, but then they forced ourselves to be here, right? This is why when you go watch Boys in the Hood, Furious Styles, right? When he took Ricky and Trey over to that property, he says, listen, how did the drugs get here? How did the guns get here? Who the hell taught us about chemistry to know if I add baking soda, a little bit of heat, and a little bit of, I don't know the recipe, but you know what I'm talking about, right? When you do X, Y, Z to it, it'll wrap up, and it'll give you an inexplainable, incomparable high. Who the hell taught us how to do that? Other than that, huh? The government. Get that man in here. Get that man in here. The government. Because they have been plotting on you for the longest. Give me Lamentations 4:17. Give me Lamentations 4:17. You got to recognize, you got Psalms 83? I got Psalms 83. Hold Psalms 83, right? Matter of fact, no, Isaiah 29:16, right? Because I told you, it used to be a high CBD content, low THC. Let's see what the scriptures say. Read.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 29, verse 16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay.
They said, our turning of things upside down shall be esteemed or regarded as the potter's clay. The potter, the one that formed these things, is God. His creation, us, the trees, weed, that's the clay. But it says, they turn these things upside down. So whenever you want to tell, hey, bro, I got that natural, good, organic weed. But the THC, hey, man, I'm talking about, this is moon rock, man. I'm talking about this 90% pure THC. They start using these key words, right? And listen, how is seedless organic anyway, right? But then they tell us if the weed got seeds in it, it's trash. See how they talk to us? Turning these things upside down, they make it seem like this is how God created it. No, this is nothing but a complete and utter lie. Give me that Psalms 83. So what I want to show you is Psalms 83 before you go, right? Watch this. Before you go. You got to recognize that you are hunted in this place. You got to recognize that you play the position of a prey in this place. And you have to understand you have an enemy. And your enemy does not look like you. Your enemy don't look like your wife. Your enemy don't look like your kids. Your enemy look like the God that was forced on you, that looks nothing like the description that they give in the book that they make us read. Or that they tell us to read, because they don't even make us. Go ahead, you got that in Lamentations? Bring it out, 4:17.
Lamentations 4:17. As for us, our eyes has yet failed of our vain help.
When you read the Bible, brother, you're going to keep hearing these key words like us. Right? Very rarely do you hear start talking about, oh, everybody on the planet, anybody that you can see. Hell no. It starts talking from a possessive, right, specific, segregated group. Because our oppression is unique to us. I couldn't break this stuff down to an East Indian and say, were you brought over here with slavery and ships? Are you suffering the curses of the book of Deuteronomy? Is somebody hunting you down in the streets? Is somebody trying to take advantage of you? Hell, you the one taking advantage of me. Can I explain this to a Korean? Hell, man, we know what the Koreans are doing to us in the Iraq riots. They was gunning us down. Calling the police. Our captivity is very unique to ourselves. So when you see, as for us, as for the Israelites, the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, our eyes have done what?
As yet failed for our vain help.
Our eyes have failed for our vain help. The word vain means come to nothing. The help that we're looking for has got us nothing. You know why? Because we're looking to the wrong person. We're looking to the man that put us in this messed up place to get us out. We're paying money on Ancestry.com and going and getting DNA tests to have the man that took our identity away to turn around and give it back to us. And we believe it wholeheartedly. You get the results and you like, hey, mom, hey, I got 17% European in me. And you say that like you proud of it. But then when you go and you get the science from them, it tells you how the European man is impotent. It tells you how the European man has a problem with reproduction. We were suffering rapes and mistreatment, yeah. But they wasn't populating with us like that. They have a problem with reproduction, starting from the seed, not the egg. See what I'm saying? But then they want to say, according to the census or according to the DNA, every Black African American has at least 20% European in them. That is a goddamn lie. And listen, and it's a task or it's a tactic to do what? Now that you look at yourself as having part European, you should never be able to look at them as their enemy, because you say, well, I'm part of it too. So, as I'm trying to be more enlightened, I'm trying to be woke, I don't want to hate myself, but you still go out and hate your brother that look like you. Man, we all around bass backwards, as they say, right? It's ass backwards, but we got to say it all messed up. We're bass backwards, right? Our eyes have failed for our help that gets us nothing. Read.
In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
In our watching, we watch for a nation that cannot save us. The whole time, we've been sitting here waiting. Master, is it time, please? Can we get off this plantation? Okay, we have the plantation. Okay, we have the plantation now, Master. Can I get a job? Oh, I gotta shave my beard. Don't you know the scripture says that you shouldn't shave your beard? You ever seen a lion shave his mane? Hell no.
Let him know, God.
But listen, the mane is what separates the men from the women.
That's right.
And the mane is designed to be an intimidation factor for anybody else that want to run up on us and say, yeah, this is a full-grown lion. This is a man right here. And listen, and if I'm going to approach him in any manner, I need to approach him as a man, or I should just leave him alone. See what I'm saying? They do this as a tactic to make us docile and to make us look weak. Right? Go ahead. Keep going.
Verse 18. They hunt our steps.
These people, this nation that we've been watching for, that will not help us, they turn around and they hunt our steps. Right? Like I said, you go into the grocery store, you go out into the street, you got a problem. These dudes roll around in a black and white. Well, you should wave at them because they should be protecting and serving. You don't feel protected from them. You feel like they finna find any reason. The 32-point check. Right? My bro just joined the police force. Police got behind the heel. I'm straighten up. Oh, snap. Nigga, you the police. How are you sitting there getting scared by your partner? Because it's ingrained in us. They hunt our steps. Read.
That we cannot go in our streets.
We can't go in our streets. Like I said, that's why we at Liberty Station right now. Because we was at Ski Beach the last 2 years, but we can't go there now. Oh, well, you guys made it an event because you made a fly. Who give a good goddamn? We out here to have a good time and celebrate each other and to love each other. What the hell that got to do with anything? Black people put out flyers so we know what a barbecue is. Read.
It says, our end is near, our days are fulfilled, for our end is come.
Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, our end is come. Because we can't go into our streets. Every day we leave the house, we are subject to be killed both by our oppressor and by ourselves. This is the mentality that we develop. That's that wound, bruise, and sore that I talked about earlier. And then we start to make decisions based off of that. Now, if I want to be smart, I got to walk out into the street with a gun. Not to protect myself from the police, because you're never going to use it against them. You're going to use it against your own people. See what I'm saying? Now, I got to sit up here and make a decision in the split of a second. Do I pull my gun first, or do I allow him to pull his gun? Do I try to make amends, or try to gain a friend or a brother, or I gotta think on how I'm gonna save and preserve my life to get back home to my kids. It's a problem, right? What's your precept?
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 10 and verse 8. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent.
He lurketh in the secret places of the villages, right, to see who he's gonna murder. Read. Go ahead.
His eyes are privily set against the poor.
To be privily is to be planned or to be cunning, right? To be planned. They set against the poor. That's why they say the rich get rich and the poor get poor. Generational curse. It's not by accident. It's people that come from other countries that come over here dirt poor. And within a decade, they rich. They got their own community. They got their own land. They got their own section. They doing well. What the hell is it about black people that stops us from being able to get ahead? It's because they've affected us psychologically, not just financially. We got to get out of the psychological hole that we've been in, where we don't look at each other as anything. Therefore, we don't treat each other as such. That was it on that? Finish it out.
He lieth in wait, secretly as a lion in the den.
He lieth in wait like a lion does in his den, right? When he's about to go and hunt his prey. Read.
He lieth to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net.
When he draweth them into his net, because it's the trap. What do we call the dope house? We call it the trap. That's the snare that he puts us in. And then when we get there, he's sitting there waiting on you, right? He's been had a stakeout for the last 2 days or the last 2 weeks. He's been watching you. Then he hits you with the Rico. Now you're going for the rest of your life. The provider of the home. The protector and defender of the home. He's gone now. Now he's left to be raised by mom. And no disrespect to our women, but then our men start to be raised like women, not like men. Now he's off balance. Now he goes out into the world with a spirit on him that does not properly represent his gender or his nationality or who he is, and then it just creates a domino effect of utter destruction. We got to get away from that. What's your precept? Bring it out.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 65. It says, and among these nations shalt thou find no ease.
Among these nations we were going to go for our wickedness and disobedience as a punishment by God. We were going to have no ease. That's why I said we get a little moment here. We get to sit up here, soak up some sun, get a couple of juice, but your ass better be at work tomorrow on time. You can't sit up here and tell them, you can't sit up there, oh, boss, man, you listen, man, I had a good old time, man. They was playing Donnie Hathaway, man. They was playing Frankie Beverly and Mays out there, man. I had a good time, man. Listen, I don't think I'm going to be at work tomorrow. They're going to say, listen, you better bring your ass at work or you're going to get written up. You're going to HR. You're going to go talk to Andrew in HR. Right? Go ahead.
Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest.
Neither shall the sole of our foot have rest. That's why we constantly on a hustle. Even our people, when they get ahead and they start to make money, we don't even know how to enjoy the fruit of our labor. We keep hustling because we know in the back of our mind, these people are going to find a way to come take this money from me. We ain't going to find no ease and no rest for the sole of our feet. Read.
But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart.
He's going to give us a trembling heart. Not a strong one, but a trembling one. And again, it's all as a result of forsaking the law, statutes, and commandments of God. When we treat each other great, we get supported and we get protected and backed by God. When you know, listen, you know when you walk around a little different when you got your partners with you than when you by yourself. You walk around with your partners, your chest is out a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? You got a little bit more confidence because you know you protected. You know you and your partner ain't going to leave you out here lacking or hanging or slipping. Right? So when we backed by God, we have a strong heart, not a trembling one. But when we forsake him, he don't want to support a disobedient child. You going to support your disobedient child? At some point, you're going to say, son, listen. Daughter, listen. I love you, but you're going to have to go out here and learn on your own. I've been trying to guide you and steer you in the right direction. You don't think dad know what he's talking about. You don't think mom know what she's talking about. So you're going to have to figure out on your own. And that's what God is doing with us right now. We suffering that punishment because we think we can go and do it without him. And we've been failing very, very bad. Go ahead.
I was going to say also the trembling heart, like you were saying, your bro, he's a cop, yet the police pull up behind him. Now his heart is beating 100 miles per hour because it's two B's. It's either the box or behind the bars. That's what we get ourselves into, dealing with breaking the laws of the Most High God. Go ahead.
Give me Psalms 83.
Go ahead. Ron, this is the book of Psalms
for the tribe of Judah. All right? Come back into the law, statutes, and commandments, man, and let's push to get all of our people out of this place. Go ahead. Bring it out.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 2. For lo, thy enemy